Hey, excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir. I run a channel called Be Cute. I learn about personal growth, and I like to interview successful people. Do I have 1 minute of your time? It'll be quick.
Yeah, sure. What's up?
What do you do for a living?
I work for a major global financial institution.
Okay, and what's one piece of advice you would give your younger self?
One piece of advice I'd give to my younger self is be very curious, ask good questions, network, and then just shut up and listen. We were given one mouth and 2 ears for a reason.
If you had to restart with nothing today, could you do it again tomorrow?
Oh, absolutely. And 10 times better than where I'm at today, for sure.
That's awesome. Look, I do this channel where I sit down and I interview people who have a lot to share and a lot to give to other people to learn from.
Okay.
Do you think I could take 15 minutes of your time?
Dude, I don't have 15 minutes right now. I'm already late to meet my friends.
Look, it'll help a lot of people. You'll really reach a large audience, and I think you could really benefit the people on the screen.
Look,
It's 10 minutes. It's right down there. We can be quick. The coffee shop's right around the corner.
look, I got 10 minutes right now.
10 minutes? Okay,
Yeah,
let's
yeah.
make it quick. I got you.
Okay. Hey, okay. Yeah, I'll be there in 10 minutes. Yeah, I'll talk. Okay, bye.
All right, and my name is Brooks, by the way.
Matt, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Okay, this way?
Yes.
All right, let's go.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Be Cute. I'm here at the Chloe with Matt Wright, a seasoned banking professional who's made the journey from Canada to New Orleans. All right, Matt, what daily habits have driven you to be so successful?
A few habits I have to be successful. First thing, I wake up early. It gives you an opportunity to not rush into the workday. I'm not one who checks emails first thing in the morning. I like to have my time for myself. I like to think of what does a win look like for me today? How do I win the day? Despite everything going on, what does a win look like for me today? I like to also think of 3 things I'm grateful for. Oftentimes, it's very easy to get caught up in the day-to-day. In my line of work, we're always thinking a week ahead, 2 weeks ahead, a quarter ahead. And then you get there and you're like, wow, what happened with all that time? You don't appreciate what's right in front of you. So I think of 3 things I'm grateful for right now, especially being away from my family back in Canada. The next thing I like to do is move my body. First thing in the morning could be a workout or just a walk or stretching. It helps me get my mind right for the day and then get the juices flowing. So those are a few things I try to incorporate every single day to have successful habits. I learned that from Atomic Habits by James Clear, become 1% better every day. Incorporating these habits into my life, I honestly feel like make me 1% better every day and kind of keep myself grounded. So irrespective of what's thrown at me during the day, I have those habits I always lean on no matter what, and it allow me to be consistent. I'd say in terms of developing these habits, it took a lot of time. It's not something that came overnight. Some of them have always been a part of my routine, especially the fitness aspect of things. But the mindfulness piece of it and syncing the mind and body took a long time. But I'm grateful I had the foundation early on of the fitness to incorporate, because for me, the mind and the body are just interconnected. So having that foundation plus bringing in the mindfulness, the reading aspect of things and how everything correlates has been very important for me.
So it sounds like you're pretty good about not only working your physical muscles, but also your mental muscles.
Absolutely. The mind is the most powerful thing in the body. It could be your best friend or your worst enemy. The mind and the body work in sync. That has been the utmost important thing for me in terms of my habits, my routines, my success. It's always having that foundation, that path that I will carry on and continue. It's helped me immensely in my personal and professional life every day.
Now, how do you think you've grown your business muscle the most?
Growing my business muscle is having more conversations with CEOs, founders, CFOs, and entrepreneurs I meet with every day. I ask questions. I'm fortunate in my line of work to have access to people like this, understanding how their business works, how their industry works, what are some of the challenges, even just hearing your story. I've got clients I've worked with that I helped them grow to build massive companies. It's like looking at a storybook from start to finish, and just hearing their stories and the grind it took. That's a piece of the information and knowledge that helps me build my brain muscle. The other piece of it is doing things that make me feel uncomfortable, learning things that aren't necessarily in my purview of things that I would need to know or be really good at. That allows me to flex my brain muscle and learn. The other piece of it is reading. Reading is big for me. It allows me in so many different ways to be able to retain knowledge better, to learn more. And I feel like a lot of that helps in my business life. And reading also helps me to not talk. And I think that's the most important piece, is listening. Those are a few key areas for sure that have definitely helped.
That's really great advice. Whenever you're in your business realm, how do you feel that the culture around toxic hustling or the get rich quick, you got to grind for 30 hours a day, 8 days a week kind of thing? Do you feel like that's necessary? Or do you feel like there is an alternative way that is still showing that you're working hard, but it's not sacrificing your soul and your body and health?
Yeah, that's a great question. With the emergence of social media, it feels like everyone is working nonstop and has all these Lamborghinis and yachts, and they built this business overnight working with a lot of successful people. You realize that 99% of the time, people only see the tip of the iceberg as to the work that went into developing that business, which took a lot of patience. But we've got to look at seasons. There will be seasons in your life, in your development, personal and business, where the later nights, you're not closing the laptop till it's bedtime or sacrificing family time. There's seasons of that. And, that doesn't change. There's going to be certain needs you're going to have to attend to. But I think when it comes to the toxic hustle culture, I think it's bogus. And a lot of people are going to disagree with me. A lot of people think that staying up all night and grinding it is necessary to find success. If you're a founder in tech and you're building out code and on calls with people in different time zones, that makes sense. But if you're just doing it because you feel like it's going to make it successful, probably not. Myself, other successful people, they do a very good job at balance. And the more I mature and listen and understand and soak up knowledge, start to realize that the toxic hustle is actually just, you need to prioritize yourself. You need to prioritize your health. You need to prioritize your family. There will be sacrifices, but having the discipline, understanding, and knowledge that if you do not attend to yourself, then what is the point of success? Everybody wants to make tons of money. Everybody wants to grow their business 10x. Everybody wants to have this and have that. What would be the point of achieving all of this and not being able to enjoy it? You can't enjoy time with your family because you're attending to emails and phone calls. And the only person that's going to remember that you weren't at that soccer game is going to be your kid or your family member. They're never going to remember the meeting or why you missed it. They don't care. Those are some of the things that I've learned. I had to rid myself of the toxic culture mentality because I definitely had it. And a part of me sometimes does have it, but I think it's within reason. Again, it's seasons where you need to sacrifice to get where you need to go, but prioritizing yourself is the utmost important thing, especially if you want to talk about longevity and avoiding burnout.
That really resonates a lot with me, and I'm sure a lot of other people, especially me as a student and an architecture school and real estate development, a very strong hustle culture. You're staying up all night on your computer, no matter what's going on in your life. And I think for myself, I realized how negative that was on my health and how little it really did push me forward. Like you're saying, the burnout. And I think that's really something a lot of people need to realize, that it can be inspired action, like you're saying. You could be inspired to stay up one night, but you have to then take steps to take care of yourself. And I think that's what you're getting at there.
Absolutely. And I would say if there's any piece of advice that I could give to anyone who's experiencing this is calendar block, and to put time in your calendar and organize yourself for sprints, reset, sprint. So if you've got something, a test, I've been through college before, so I know what it's like for sure. But if you discipline yourself enough to have a calendar block, then, you're going to put in X amount of hours of work, but then you're going to take yourself out of that. You're going to reset, and then you're going to come back to it. And that has single-handedly helped me in both my personal and professional life.
That's amazing. Okay. Now, what has been some healthy distraction for you? I know you talked about working out, reading, journaling, but is there something else that you say, okay, this actually was an experience that I didn't expect to help me, but it seemed a distraction at the time, but took me a little bit further in my career, my health, or just overall life?
Therapy. And I don't think enough of us take advantage of that. Being able to talk to somebody who is completely objective to your situation has helped immensely. I started doing that during COVID. Being locked away, not in social environments and battling the two of those things, right? And lockdowns and things. It was very interesting, complex. I'm a very social guy. So that was hard for me, but being able to speak to somebody was something I did not expect to help me, but absolutely did. That's outside of the gym, the traveling, it's outside of everything else. That is something I didn't expect to have a profound impact on the way that I view situations, how I think about situations, my compassion, my patience. It's all really helped as some sort of an escape. Another piece of it is journaling. Journaling, writing down your thoughts, ideas, things you're grateful for is another hobby that I've incorporated into my life that has developed my brain muscle more than just anything else. And the other piece of it, honestly, is just going for a walk. My mind becomes a lot more clear when I'm walking, especially by water. There's just something about water. So aside from the regular stuff, those are some definite habits that I'd love to incorporate.
If you could trace back your biggest lesson in business to one conversation, who was it with?
That's tough. I have had a fantastic lineup of people that I've met. My dad has been very instrumental in my development as a young man with networking. I watched him and how he builds great relationships. Even being from Canada, someone came up to me last weekend that knew my dad. I have a lot of other mentors, personally, professionally, but there's a gentleman by the name of Steve. Steve works at my business back in Canada, and he's ahead of a massive division, deals with those big contracts. He's been with my company now for 25 to 30 years. There's one thing that he said to me, and I actually wrote it down. I printed it out, and I've kept it in my computer for years now, probably for 7 years. I've written this down and brought it down here with me. Problems will arise, unexpected problems will arise, and it will make the average person or anybody feel like the end of the world. Oh my gosh, let's panic. The best piece of advice is identify the problem, see it for what it is, and find the solution and leave it at that. And in every situation in my personal and business life, I've been able to remove all of the emotion, all of the feeling, all of the doom and gloom, and see it for what it is. That has been a massive piece of advice that has helped me to stay logical and stay grounded. A lot of advice has been given to me, but I think that's what sticks out to me the most as being the most useful. In terms of something that I've actually learned, networking is very important if you want to get somewhere. You need to put yourself out there and get uncomfortable. You need to cold approach people. You need to reach out to people. You need to demonstrate your why. What qualities do you possess to partner with that person? Just ask someone to go for a coffee, for example. When it comes time to hire or get a job or see an opportunity, they're going to remember you because you just wanted their time to listen. People are always willing to share without being solicited. So definitely do that. And the other piece I would say, we have 2 ears and one mouth for a reason. Just listen.
You've taken a lot of advice and knowledge and helped yourself grow from the people you've met in like your father or different business people. But what's something that you've brought to the table that has helped a business grow? Or what's something that you've been able to provide for somebody else? Because I think the best gift to receive is to give. So what's something that you've been able to give?
Yeah, if we're talking business first, I would say my job gives me an opportunity to help people every day. And I think I see it less transactional versus actually putting myself in your shoes and understanding how I'm going to actually help you. Is there specific growth you're going to have for the business? How do I help you achieve that? I treat it like a storybook. Where were we when we first began this relationship? And now look at where we are right now. You were able to build that facility, that plant. You were able to grow 3x because I was able to help you with that. I almost feel like I'm a part of your business. I'm on your team, and it's helped me develop amazing relationships. I can go into one of my clients' offices, and I've been invited to crawfish boils. I can walk into someone's office, sit down in their boardroom, and they have a meeting going on for something completely different. In terms of helping people in my personal life, I am a big fan of mentorship. When I was back in Toronto, I mentored with a few different organizations that really were fostered around helping underprivileged youth find opportunities, immigrant families, high school students. That to me is how I want to be able to give back to tomorrow's generation. In high school, I would have loved to have somebody in my position talk to me about the importance of credit, being financially sound, how to do this, how to do that, and take your hand and walk you through, what to do. It's people that are very talented, but it's just, they need guidance. Oftentimes it's people from less fortunate situations who need the most help. That's been very important for me through my life. And that's how I give back and really change. And that's what makes me feel whole as a human. I feel like that's my purpose, is to actually help.
If you had to give a TED Talk on one topic, what would it be?
Wow. A TED Talk on one topic, it would be facing your fears and being uncomfortable. I have been through so much in my life. Being uncomfortable is, our minds, our bodies will always fight to stay at homeostasis. I can't do that. And what is somebody going to think of me? You have absolutely no idea what you're capable of until you take that next step. Being able to sit in discomfort is one of the most powerful and endearing things that someone can do if they're going to make a step in the right direction. Even if it's small, take the step. And if I had the opportunity to do a TED Talk, I would give examples of my stories, and then I would tell everyone how I achieved based on those steps. That would be my TED Talk, period.
Speaking to the younger people who are exposed to so much at once, like you mentioned, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and all these things, it feels like you're just holding your head above water, just trying to hustle through. And it's constant envy of, oh man, look what everyone else is doing. What would be the last thing that you would tell a student who follows a rigid structure of, this is what degree I'm going to get and this is what course of life I have to take? How do you suppose that a student can break free from the ladder approach to life and always trying to climb that ladder?
I think you have to ask yourself, is this what I want? And what am I getting out of this? A lot of things are going to come with great sacrifice. But if the sacrifice isn't aligning with something that you're looking for, then it makes no sense, because all you're doing is just trying to appease other people. It might be your family. It could be your friends. It could be, oh, I got to get this great job, because if I don't get it, then I'm not going to be acknowledged as someone who's successful. There's nothing admirable about doing something that you're getting absolutely nothing out of just to have another notch in the belt or climb one ladder up. It's not about the recognition. It's all about, how is that aligning with your purpose? So if you're a student right now who is rethinking their path and they're doing things because of pressure from family or friends, then look, it's your life and you only have one, and it's never promised. It is literally never promised. I'm not saying get out of school and go crazy. I just mean, if it's something that you can't stop thinking about and you feel like your purpose is not aligning with what you got going on, then figure it out and go do your thing, because you have one shot. But the other part of it is you can always keep reinventing yourself. But don't do something you hate and get nothing out of it. And don't do it for anybody else but yourself.
Thank you so much for sharing your journey and insights. To our viewers, if you found this conversation valuable, insightful, impactful in any sort of way, leave a comment about what you found was the most riveting part of this conversation.
Appreciate it, buddy. Thanks for having me on here.